Nelsa, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having an amazing morning, evening, day, or night, whenever and wherever you're watching this video. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you doing? Go and smash that subscribe button right now. Give this video a big thumbs up and drop a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to go follow me on Instagram at @hates_Nelsa. And if you guys are wondering why I'm rushing this intro, it's because today's video is a very important video on a very serious topic, and my intro at this point just doesn't matter. So if you guys have been keeping up with the news recently or current events, then you probably know about George Floyd and his death. And if you don't know about George Floyd and his death, then what are you doing? So as you guys can obviously see, I am black, I am African American, and I'm proud to be black. I've been trying a lot to promote the Black Lives movement through my social media, especially on my Snapchat. I am very vocal on my Snapchat about this. On my Instagram story, not as much, I guess. But I did participate in something that happened on Tuesday, Blackout Tuesday. A lot of people participated in that, and that was very encouraging to see people of all races promoting the Black Lives movement and advocating for justice. After signing endless petitions, looking at endless posts, and seeing people posting about having a discussion, I watched a couple of videos about the George Floyd issue, and those really inspired me, and I felt like, well, I've done all these things, but I don't feel like I've done enough. So here's this video. This video is kind of my way of raising awareness and just starting a discussion, because the only way that we can bring about change is talking about it, talking about why it's wrong. I mean, I have this platform. It would be kind of wrong for me not to use it to spread this awareness and to just, put my opinion out there about what it is as a black teen in America. I'm part of a growing generation that seems to be a lot more vocal, a lot more radical, and I love seeing people who are part of my generation who are trying to make change, who are trying to make reforms, who are just trying to make the world better, because we are growing up in this world and it needs to change because it is a very flawed world. So, some young people who inspired me, who did make videos about this topic, are some fellow small YouTubers that I love: P Beauty LLL, Ella Andrews, Jaheim TV, Aaliyah Simone, Imani Royalty, Aloe Cloud, and Ada On Demand. Aaliyah Simone is actually my favorite YouTuber, and I really appreciate people like her who use their more mainstream platforms to spread awareness and to just make their voices heard. And I feel that this entire first half of 2020 has just been hectic. And then now we have something this tragic and horrible happening in the pandemic. We had the Ahmaud Arbery case. If you don't know about that either, you better watch the news, y'all. Then we had George Floyd, we had Breonna Taylor. There are just so many names, and they keep being added to a list. And if you guys see me getting agitated right now, it's because enough is enough. There comes a point in time where you're just like, this can't keep happening. And I feel like 2020 is truly the year that things are about to change. Time and time again, Black people are discriminated against. We see cases like this happen all the time. But the reason why George Floyd's case is different is because it was caught on camera. How many others have not been caught on camera? That's the question. How many others never received justice because there was no videotape? There was no... All 4 officers who were involved in the George Floyd case have finally been arrested after multiple days of rioting. And if people hadn't spoken up, I bet you that the other 3 officers would not have been arrested. There was also a memorial for George Floyd yesterday in Minnesota. And there's been a new witness that was revealed. If you guys love CNN like I do, you probably watch it. And on CNN, they revealed that there was someone else in the car with George Floyd who can serve as a primary witness to the case. So people have been pushing for the 4 officers to be arrested. They have been arrested. Now the discussion I want to have today is, now what? The reason I asked the question, now what, is because the fight is not over. It doesn't end there. We've seen this happen before multiple times in history, and history tends to repeat itself. You arrest the guys, you take them to court, and because of racial discrimination, the white officers get to go with a light penalty, or they get to go completely free and no one receives justice. However, I do have hope that George Floyd's case is going to be different than most of the cases that have occurred in the past. I actually have faith that something can change this time, because for the first time in American history, we have had the biggest riots, the biggest marches, the biggest protests. At this point, the whole Black Lives movement is no longer a movement. It's now a whole revolution. Before this year, before the George Floyd video, most of the people who are supporting the Black Lives movement were predominantly Black people, like me. But now, because of the video, because of the outrage, because of the protests, more people are having their eyes open to the real issues that Black people face every day. A lot of people go to school and learn about racism, but while they were learning about racism, people like me were growing up in it, we're dealing with it, we're facing it, and I'm glad that people finally realize that and have their eyes open to that and are willing to start a discussion. The discussion is about justice, but not only about justice, but about reform and change in our community. A lot of the racist ideas and stereotypes that people have in this country about Black people stem from systematic racism. If you guys don't believe in systematic racism, I have a great video that I'm going to put in the description box below that you need to watch so you can understand how it works and what it is. I saw someone post on their Instagram story the other day talking about, oh, racism isn't systematic, la-di-da-di-da, I agree it exists, but it's not. I don't agree with that at all. Because if racism wasn't systematic, it wouldn't occur over and over and over and over again. And because our legal system adheres to it and allows it to happen again and again and again and again, you know that it's systematic. It's not just a movement that people need to take in their hearts and say, oh my gosh, I feel for his family. It's something that we actually need to do about, which is why I encourage you guys to sign petitions if you haven't yet. I've signed 1 million of them at this point, but I just felt like I needed to speak out about this right now. I have 3 little brothers. And I don't want to grow up one day and find out that one of my brothers was shot and killed just walking down the street because some white police officer just decided to shoot him up. What is this? How many more people are going to keep dying because of this? We're always saying, say their names, say their names, say their names. Their names keep getting forgotten. They're just left in the dust. George Floyd better get justice. He needs to get justice for all the other people who did not get justice in the past, all the other people who were not vindicated, all the other people who had to suffer before us. People like Martin Luther King Jr. came before us and fought the fight. They fought it for us. So why is this still happening? We don't want all their work to be in vain. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, they sacrificed their lives for things like this. So why are we still dying? Why do we still have to suffer the consequences of a system that we did not produce? A system that was implemented on us. Systematic racism that we never asked for. The great thing about this whole George Floyd thing being a global issue at this point is that people are actually supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. You don't just see Black people supporting it anymore. You see Hispanic people, you see Asian people, you see white people. There are now allies who are supporting the movement, who are more aware of it. And I think it's very important that people of other races are also aware of this issue, because Black people did not create this system of racism in America for themselves. They were just victims of it. So now that white people are more aware of it, they can actually try to do something about it too. You put the system on us. Your ancestors did this to us. You don't care about it because it doesn't affect you. But now that you see how it hurts us, maybe you can care a little bit more and try to help us fix it too. Enough is enough. It's been hundreds of years. Slavery, Jim Crow laws, segregation, everything just to get up to this point that there's no segregation. And when you just think everything's getting better, it seems to be getting worse. Racism, it still exists. It is a very, very, very real thing that people deal with on a daily basis. Talk to any single person of color, especially a Black person, and they will each be able to tell you at least one point in their life where they felt discrimination or racism act against them. And it's so unfair that you live your entire life with the knowledge that one thing about you can make people hate you, can make people think you're less about you, and that's just your skin color. Like, y'all, like, it's just so sad and it's just so unfair. Knowing that no matter like what I do sometimes, how good I am at something, how much I succeed in life, some people are just always gonna look at me like this. She's black, she can't do this, she can't do that. The reason why people promote supporting black businesses and other black-owned endeavors is because black people don't get enough support. We sometimes take the most stuff from people. We get a lot of SHIT that we don't deserve. And it's not fair. And the thing is that it's certainly not getting any better, especially when your president himself is racist. Yes, I said it. I think that Donald Trump is racist. I'm not usually political on my channel, but I honestly think that he's a racist jerk. He's shooting at people who are just protesting peacefully in Washington, D.C. He makes these derogatory consents and, he just says a lot of things that are hurtful. And it's kind of hard to change a system when the head of the system, the head of your state, the head of your country is not even for you. See, the nice thing about seeing people like Barack Obama in power is that it gives you hope. Because when you see people who look like you being able to achieve all these great things like you start to believe that, yeah, I can do it too. Maybe I may have all these chains on me because people don't believe in me because I'm black, or people don't believe in me because of this. But if he can do it, maybe I can do it too. And just to see like everyone go up like, yeah, Obama, and all of a sudden everyone go back down because somebody did something else to another black person, it's not fair. We can't keep taking baby steps forward, trying to get to that high place, and then be knocked backwards by white supremacism, by racism, by racial discrimination that we never asked for, yet we have to suffer the consequences of it every single day. See, now I know that the way our country isn't going to change overnight, but I know that at some point it needs to change because this is not okay. And it keeps happening, and it just needs to get better. I know I'm growing up in a world like this, but I don't want my kids to grow up in a world like this when I have kids one day. And I don't like the idea that my little brothers, all three of them, are going to grow up in a world like this. A world that does not celebrate black men. A world that seems to be like fighting against us at every angle. When I was watching George Floyd's Memorial, his funeral yesterday on TV, the pastor / reverend who was there kept mentioning that George said, "I can't breathe." And he said that every single time a black person tries to move forward, someone holds them back. Let us breathe, please. Let us be able to achieve the highest things we can possibly be. Let us be able to live our lives. Every single time someone tries to do something, you keep holding us back. Stop holding us back. Like, slavery is abolished, but sometimes I just feel like there are so many chains still holding black people back from greatness. It's just unfortunate. And y'all, if I'm coming off as like this in this video, it's just because I'm really angry and I'm just kind of like fed up about it. At the end of the day, nothing is going to change unless it has to do with our legislation and our laws in the United States, because the American system allows things like this to continuously happen. Something needs to be reformed in the police academy, in the way that people think in this country, in order for cases to stop acting like this. George Floyd could have been saved. There were 4 officers there. One of them had his knee on George Floyd's neck. The 3 other ones could have done something about it, could have saved him, could have stopped him. And the thing that amazes me is that when you look at the 4 officers, only 2 of those 4 officers were even white / Caucasian. The other 2 were minorities. They should understand what it feels like to deal with racial discrimination. They should have recognized that it was wrong to put your knee on the black man's neck. They should have realized that they should have let him live. Yes, this is about the Black Lives Matter movement, but at the end of the day, all minorities deal with racial discrimination. If you understand the struggle, then why is it that you can't help others when you see them going through it? Like, if something happened in the Hispanic community and there was some racial issue or something like that, I would go and help those Hispanic people. I would be on their side, backing them up, saying, this was wrong. You can't treat people like this just because they're Hispanic. But when something wrong happens in the black community, everyone said, like, oh, all lives matter, not just Black Lives Matter. Like, excuse me? Excuse me? Hi, let me give you guys an example that I hear all the time. Imagine there was a neighborhood. One house is on fire. The firefighters come. Would you want the firefighters to go and spray water on all the houses, or just the one house that is lit on fire and people are dying inside of? Wouldn't you want them to go save the people who are dying inside the house on fire? Because there's no point of the firefighter going and helping the other houses at the moment when they're not on fire. That's how the Black Lives Matter movement is. This issue with George Floyd is based mostly on predominantly black people. It's about systematic racism. It's about something that has been going on for centuries and years and has not ceased to stop in America. If something happened in the Hispanic community, in the Asian community, you know, I would be back there backing them up, because at the end of the day, discrimination is wrong, regardless of which race it is. It's just wrong. This system in America that seems to allow racism to happen cannot be stopped if you don't do anything about it. Petitions are great, because I've signed a lot of them. I know they're great, but speaking up is what helps the most. We all have beautiful, lovely YouTube channels here, and I tried to post something on my community board earlier this week about the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't know if you guys saw it, but you should go and give it a big thumbs up on my community board. But what I'm saying is that we have voices, we have platforms, we have social media. Make your voice heard. If it's not on YouTube, make it heard on Instagram, make it heard on Snapchat, make it heard somewhere, because we all have to start a discussion. Because until we come to realize what this country is, until we come to terms with it and define the wrong in it, we can't fully change it. Until we push our local legislators, our state legislators, our national legislators to make a difference and voice our anger, it cannot be changed. Police brutality is not something that we can keep condoning in this country. It's unfair. Just the other day, a young college couple got tased and were harassed by police officers for doing completely nothing. They were stuck in traffic because of the protests, and because of that, they were tased for no reason. A young black couple. That's not fair. And not only that, people get pushed, they get shoved, they get hurt because of police. All these protests and riots that are going on, they don't get violent until the police gets involved. And it's not fair that the president has a national guard and the whole military mobilizing against its own people. We're supposed to be united. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Abraham Lincoln said that back when the Civil War broke out. So if the same thing is happening now, what do you think is going on in our country? And when you see people from outside your country protesting about the issues in your country, you know there's something wrong with your country. I'm done. I'm done for real this time. Please make sure to comment down below how you guys feel about the issue. If you guys agreed with some of the things I said, if you guys disagreed with some of the things I said. The reason I say that is because it's important to start a discussion, to, talk about it, to make your voice heard. And I applaud all of you guys who have posted things on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Snapchat about the issue and have made your voice heard. It's making a difference. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, cookies. Also, I promise that not all my videos are this angry if you're a new subscriber. It's just this issue, something that's very dear to my heart, and something that affects me directly as a Black person, which is also another reason why it just bothers me so much.